The plot thickens as the dueling action and tension rises. All the while, we had some amazing music throughout this episode, especially once Prophecy Phased was summoned. Hello everyone and welcome to Dueling with Downton, and today we're here to talk about all things episode 25 of the Yugioh Go Rush anime series. An overall amazing episode that added that tension. It added some plot twists. It added some beautiful music, some of the best music we've seen from the series so far, all the while presenting stellar quality animation. Now, one thing I was really looking forward to seeing an explanation to was how did T-shirt Yugioh become a thing? And well, the explanation that the show gave us was surprising in the way that it was very unexpected, because Yugioh basically has a safety feature. Pushing himself to his limits and going beyond exhaustion. Finally, he collapsed. Thus, that's how he turned into a t-shirt. And I guess this is like a defensive mechanism for Yugioh. So, yeah. And the way that he was explaining it sounded as if this isn't the first time this has happened to him. So, I want to know what happened the first time. Anyway, one thing's for sure. This was a strange part of the episode. And speaking of strange things, you once again see a silhouette revealed in the opening before the on-screen anime appearance. We finally see the character of Natsudo, and the way they actually used his character was differently than the way I originally thought they would do. But it does make sense when you remember that he's an up-and-coming reporter / journalist. So it makes sense that he would kind of go with whoever's going to bring him the biggest news story first that he can report on. And it's also very fitting that he'll be very good with information, whether that's distributing it or, handling it in any sense. Add on the fact that both himself and Menjabro don't seem to fully get the poems or the hype behind them that Rovian sort of spits out, and you kind of do have a good case as to why he might not be the biggest sort of, Rovian fan, and why he's decided to team with London. We don't know what London has been up to since he went silent. And it could be the fact is that Rovian has made advances towards getting this space treasure, but because of Netsudo's kind of information gathering skills and the fact that he, is a spy working with London, he's been able to feed London information in order to keep London one step ahead of the Rovian bandits all the time. So yeah, the small amount of screen time that we get to see from Natsudo doesn't give us too much in terms of his personality, except for the fact is we get the impression that he might not be super loyal, and he easily blends into the background, which kind of makes a good way for him to be able to sneak off during this duel in order to side with his true partner, London. So the ending of this episode does reveal London having found the space treasure, and this kind of proves that both himself and Rovian are not working together. But it's clear that Rovian knows where the space treasure is, and that's why she's kind of going after buying UTS, the building itself. However, she's not really looking to break in and steal it. She's got some decency, so she's willing to sell it by offering this beautiful looking material. So the question does arise, what is this material that can only be found in Mutsuba town? Now, at first, when I saw this object, I looked at the colours and I looked at the pattern. And it does look very similar to the pattern shown in Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's when they talk about the dueling data program. We see it appear both times in conversation when talking about fusions and talking about maximums, when, Nail is kind of looking to add maximums to the Rush dueling program. You can see the colours there. They're up on the screen. There's a side-by-side comparison. And yes, it's not perfect. It's not a perfect match. But you can see both have rectangular patterns and the same colours embedded within them. And both look to have the themes of technology surrounding the items. Whatever the thing is though, it looks super interesting and I can't wait until the show expands on it more. Right then, so two more things I thought were very stunning and easy on the eye. Firstly, the flashback shots with Zawaijuin. These were wonderfully animated and looked awesome. I loved also how the segments with Yugioh in just further showcases the bond created by both himself and Yugioh. Yugioh got a hold of a quip spell, but chose to entrust it to Yugioh once again, showcasing that trust between them. And Yugioh in turn shows faith in Yugioh by using that gifted card. Plus, the episode did a great job of showcasing Yugioh in the fact is, he may not be dueling, but he is still having an impact within the series. Yugioh does really only have one main goal, and that is peace for Valgir. And things like pride or stubbornness aren't going to prevent him from exploring other ways to obtain that peace, even if one of those ways means using Yugioh and his methods. Also, he was looking awesome as hell in all of those segments. And another stunning thing from this episode was the new ace summoning and equip spell that Yugioh showcase. The way they animated this and presented it showcased that the show was trying to make this into a big and impactful moment. And I thought it delivered somewhat. The new summoning chant and the music / effects all helped to add to this occasion as well, just making it all round a more pleasant watch. The effects of the ace monster does seem rather situational, but while in this Go Rush era of rush dueling, where we seem to be using a lot of equip spells because they're currently useful in giving us a little power boost, plus the added on effects they come with, this card could get some use I could see happening. As for the duel, I'm really liking this opening part. Having Yugioh only use 2 monster zones is a great handicap to have. It also makes it so that if Yugioh does end up losing this duel, it's because he wasn't able to duel at his max capacity. There was a moment within this duel where he used the effect to give one of his monsters more attack based on the other normal monsters he had on his field. And of course, because he only had the limited space for summoning monsters, he couldn't get the full use of that effect. And those missed out points could be decisive moving forward. However, the magic of this handicap is the tension that it adds to the duel. Also, the slight ironicness of it. Because when we first encountered Rovian, she had a handicap in herself facing both the Odo twins. And now our heroes have the handicap as they once again face an uphill battle. Okay, so on to the biggest talking point of this episode, and that of course would be the ship appearing out of the wormhole and the alien in Rovian's hat. Rovian's hat is an alien, and I liked how this came about because in their first encounter with Rovian, Yuhi's hair / antenna didn't really react. So this meant that the alien wasn't there at the time, or it was able to conceal its presence. Or, crazy theory / idea time, because that alien hat and the ship are connected to each other. We saw that. And they both managed to make the Earthdemar in MIK's possession react, which we know is connected to Yuhi, because it came from Yuhi from what we know. So, can we assume that this ship, or the people piloting it, are the original source of the Earthdemar, meaning somehow Yuhi's Earthdemar that he's got came from this ship / planet where it came from? Long ago, this Earthdemar that Yuhi is in the possession of managed to make its way to Earth. Maybe it attached itself to the space treasure. And because the space treasure is underneath the Odo household, the Earthdemar then took shelter within Yuhi and over time took his form and gave Yuhi the side effect of reacting every time he sees the Earthdemar interact with another sort of object or entity or being. I'm not quite sure. However, I'm just trying to throw out some ideas here. But when we see the ship first arrive, it's covered in this weird green-like substance. Now, this could just be an effect, or it could be a sort of protective cloaking that protects it from the harshness of travelling through wormholes and or space. But what if this is a pure mass of Earthdemar, or the ship's just been covered in it? And that is why the captured substance of Earthdemar in MIK's possession is reacting to its arrival. It's trying to reunite with its hive. Kind of like when you see in Venom. I don't know if you've seen that movie, but obviously the symbiosis kind of when it detaches, is trying to find another host. It's trying to go back to its original source. Maybe it's like that. However, the only thing stopping this idea is Yuhi has not yet reacted. But the ship hasn't gotten close enough to Yuhi to see if he would react. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out moving forward. I just think this idea is a little bit more likely. You know, that a piece of Earth-Dama found its way to Earth instead of Yuhi being abducted and experimented on, and that's how we got his Earth-Dama. Anyway, that's going to be it from me today. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed this review. This was a crazy good episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I want to hear your thoughts on it in the comments down below. Let me know your theories, thoughts, and everything else. And of course, have a great day. Alligator, matane. Goodbye.